Alright, y'all, so I just got back from Never Done Projects. I got them to do me a little favor, and Randy out there demounted this old rim for me. Got the tire off. I'm going to try cleaning it up. This is one of the spares I had for my 240. I'm going to see if I can use some aircraft stripper to get this old factory clear coat off of it and get it cleaned up for powder coating. I've got the oven out there still. I haven't made the grates for it yet, but this will fit in it. So I'm going to try and get it stripped down, cleaned up, and ready for powder coating. See if I can't just smooth out this curb rash just a little bit. Make it look a little bit more presentable. And I haven't ordered the color I'm going to put on this yet, but stay tuned, I will. I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up and be back with you once I get the stripper on there, and we'll see how it does. Alright, y'all. Aircraft stripper's been on here for about 30 minutes. I can see the paint's blistered up, and well, it smudges with my finger, so at least most of it does. So I think we're pretty close to being able to rinse this off. I've hooked up my pressure washer. I'm actually kind of excited to see what this looks like. I never actually cleaned all the old clear off of one of these. So I'm going to see how much this takes off. See how much time it's going to save me. I'm going to get it pressure washed off before this dries up. Plastic wrap helps slows that down. You definitely don't want it to dry up. It's a nightmare to get off then, from what I remember. Alright, y'all, I don't remember where I left off. I think I was just about to go spray the paint stripper off with the pressure washer. I took care of that. I brought it in. I've done a little bit more sanding. Got the rest of the paint off. Even did a little bit of polishing, and I fixed some of the curbing there at this edge. I know it's not perfect, but compared to as bad as it was before, that's beautiful. So now I'm going to throw it in the powder coating oven. I'm just going to let it bake for a little while, probably about an hour, just to finish burning off any of the crust that's on there, and any of the stuff I used to clean it. And then I'll bring it in and hang it up and try and decide how I want to powder coat it. That aluminum didn't shine up as much as I'd hoped. Wasn't able to get quite to a mirror finish, so I think I might go ahead and put the super chrome over it and do a top layer of the candy gold. If I can flip this over, even the inside wasn't polished, but I had quite a bit of sand doing here. There was actually some rocks, little rock chips stuck in it. I had to actually tap out the chisel. It's still a little bit wet from my pressure washing, but yeah, there's some of the chips right there. Ain't too deep, ain't gonna hurt anything. But this whole thing was clear coated, so I had to get all the clear off. The front face is why I wanted to make sure I got as smooth as possible for that super chrome, because that's what everybody's gonna see. The rest of it don't matter so much. I'll do the inside of the wheel black as well. So it might be best if I put the black on first and then the super chrome. I don't know, I'll think about it a little bit, but I may get this into the powder coating oven. I still haven't made racks for it yet, but I should be able to find something I can set it on just to keep it up off that heat deflector and let it bake. Alright, y'all. I didn't get a chance to record it, but you've seen me put powder coat on some items before, but go ahead and put the Super Chrome Plus, the first coat of powder on that wheel, and partially cured it out, and there we have it. I'm about to bring it in the garage. But yeah, before I can do any more powder on that wheel, I need to find a way of moving parts in and out of this barrel without grabbing onto them. Now my first thought is to build a drawer, kind of like you have in a file cabinet, that double rolls out. That way I can roll it all the way out of the barrel and set the parts down here. Maybe have a hanging rack and slide it all the way on back in. But I don't have any parts to make something like that right now offhand, so I'm going to put that on hold, and I'm going to go ahead and get this carried into the garage and see if I can't just come up with a solution just for wheels. Something simple. Alright, y'all, there we are under a little bit better light, showing that Super Chrome Plus. It is quite a bit more reflective on this wheel, but you can see orange peel in it. Not too worried about that. That powder filled in most of the curb rash, except for this really bad piece right here. That was kind of deep. And it flowed out pretty good. It actually smoothed out the cast areas in here pretty good. I wiped it down with acetone after I pre-baked it at 500 degrees overnight. Well, I didn't bake it overnight. I brought it up to 500 degrees and I just let it sit in the oven overnight. And I wiped it down with acetone and took a torch to it to try and get rid of any lint. Then I could put the super chrome on it and put it in the oven. And I cured it out to 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Now, it actually took a bit longer than 10 minutes. While that oven doesn't have a window per se, I can actually peek down through the top vent to see if the powder had flowed out yet. And I didn't start the timer until the powder had flowed out. Couldn't exactly get a good temperature reading on the part itself, but this being a big hunk of aluminum, it took a while to heat it up. So I think just waiting for the powder to flow out is a good indicator of it's time to start the timer. So I'm going to see if I can't just come up with a way of lifting this rim without holding on to it. Alright, y'all, it's the next day. Whew, a bunch of work later, I have a way of putting my wheel into the oven without having to actually touch it. To do that, I had to make me a few tools and a couple more really long hooks. I did that so that I can adjust the height, because I want to do, I don't know if I already mentioned it, I want to do a candy gold on the surface here, and I want the rest of the wheel to be black. So that's 2 more layers of powder coat that need to go on here, and I'm going to have to do some working on it, clean up, get off the excess powder where I don't want it for the other colors. So I'm going to have a way of this hanging comfortably but securely so I can remove the excess powder. So for that, I forged out a little loop there, and I made this. Yeah, and it just goes all the way through the center cap and through the bolt holes. Boom. And that lets me hang the wheel on hook. Not very easy to do one-handed. Alright. Now with this many loops, it's down low enough I can easily sit on my stool and take my time to clean it up. Or if I want to be standing while I'm powder coating, I can just remove a link, or however many I need to. That way I can get up underneath. A good view of that plate down there. Now, I also need to be able to hang it up in the barrel. I don't want to make anything permanent yet, since still don't know what I want to do, so I made this little hook. I'll come out here and show you where it goes, or at least temporarily. So my goal here is just to drop down through the vent I made, let it rest on there. Then I can hang the, there we go. Then I can hang the wheel from that hook right here inside the barrel, instead of having to set it on bars or grates. Now I could just carry it out there, but I don't want to disturb the powder on the bottom side. So I made me one more little tool here for picking these up. I can hold it, slide the hook up under there and lift it. Of course, I have it a bit high right now for doing this. And it'll let me carry it by that little hook there and take it on and off the hooks. Not the most convenient, but so far I haven't had to spend any, any money on this system here. I think I've got $11 into my oven so far. And most of that was for the bolt and the little temperature gauge. I also did a little playing around. melted some aluminum. Now, those aren't cans, that's part of an old engine block off my tiller. And, well, I just poured them right on my anvil here into the old fuel filter for my 240. It was a 300ZX model. That made me a little doodad for melting the aluminum inside my forge. Doesn't melt much at a time, but I suppose I could make it bigger. And I might later on, I might make the size a little bigger. I was just using my little flux spoon to clean the slag out. Put some salt in to help make it a little bit more liquidy. That's about all I'm gonna get done for right now. I'm good and tired. I've got to clean all the dust and stuff I got on this wheel off and coat the black onto it and then start cleaning up. I'll probably start recording again when I get to doing that. I might do that tomorrow. But for now, I'm just getting the garage cleaned back up. I'm waiting for the forge to cool down so I can slide it back in its hole. And, well, after that, we'll get the first coat. Well, the next coat on here, it'll be black. Like I said, the candy chrome hasn't, the candy gold hasn't arrived yet. So I still can't put the clear coat on it yet anyways. But I'm going to just get the black on there and see how that looks. All right, y'all. So I took, and before I sprayed the black powder coat, I wiped over the chrome to try and get the dust off with a little bit of acetone, and it has dulled that Super Chrome Plus. I'm hoping when I bake it, it'll reflow out and get nice and bright and shiny again. But I don't know, but I got the gloss black on there. And I took my vacuum with a little rubber hose and vacuumed off where I want to stay chrome. And I took a damp cloth this time, no acetone, just some plain water, and tried wiping off a little of the excess powder residue. And I think I got it pretty clean and ready to go in the oven, so I'm gonna get it loaded up into the oven. Use my new tool, hopefully that goes well. And then fire it up and cure it out, and we'll see how it turns out. It came up to 400 degrees. I checked the part with an IR thermometer and set the timer for 20 minutes, and that time is now up, so I'm going to shut her down and open it up and see what it looks like. I'm hoping that chrome flowed back out. Let me open this vent up all the way. Let's see what we get. Well, it looks like some of it flowed back out. I can't quite tell from here though. Got a few spots and bubbles in that black. Well, guess I'll have to wait for it to cool and bring it back out to where we can see it and see how it did. Alright, y'all, so unfortunately the chrome didn't flow back out, so it's still got those gray streaks. The black turned out decent. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mask off the black with, I'll make a cardboard disc to stick in from the back side, and I'll put some paper on this outside part so that I can redust it with some of the Super Chrome Plus just here on the top. I won't have to do all the cleaning off. It might actually make sense for me when I do the other rims to just do the black first, mask it off like I'm talking about to do the Super Chrome Plus. As it is, there's a few little bubbles and blisters in here. I'm gonna have to sand over those real lightly just to get them out. It's still kind of warm, just to smooth out this surface again before putting on that Super Chrome. So I'm gonna let this finish cooling down. I'll get it sanded and come back with you for that part. Alright, y'all, I sanded it down with 600 grit sandpaper. Got all the bubbles and blisters out. I masked it off and blew it off, and I just put on the second coat of powder coat. I'm gonna carefully attempt to take my paper off here. It's not really stuck on there really good, so hopefully I can get it off without messing up what I just put on there. All right. see here, just a little bit of overspray right here. I'm just gonna fan that off there. All right, I'm gonna go stick it in the powder coating oven. All right, y'all, I just pulled it on out. And, well, it's chrome again. But man, does it got a lot of texture now. I think this wheel, I didn't get it hot enough initially when I did the off-gassing. I should have got hotter and kept it there a little bit longer, I think. I've done something wrong. Ain't exactly sure what, but something. Well, this is my spare anyways. It's full size. So I'm going to take what I've learned from this and do better next time. I got 4 more to do. The Candy Gold powder is supposed to come tomorrow, so I'll get it put on this then, and just to see how that goes. I mean, it's got decent shine to it. It's just those little fish eyes are bugging the snot out of me. Didn't have them with the first go round. You know, I had this before on my other experience. I think it may have something to do with me wiping it down with the acetone. I think I should maybe just get some isopropyl alcohol and put in a spray bottle. Because it was weird that the acetone wiped the powder off after it was cured. You know, it was coming off on the rag. So I'm assuming what has happened here is it had soaked into some of that powder. And as it was baking or curing the second time around, it was releasing little gas bubbles, and that's probably what caused all this fisheye. Now, I did get a lot more clarity this time where there isn't any fisheye. It's a lot more reflective. I put the powder on a little bit thinner. Well, come on back again tomorrow and get the other coat on and see how that turns out. It ain't gonna be perfect, at least this one won't be, but at least I'll, you know, improve my technique some. Alright, y'all, it's the next day. I decided to do a little update. My my Candy Gold powder ain't coming today. After all, it ain't gonna be here till tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I went and looked up my mistakes last night to see how I can deal with this, what the cause is. And I think it was a combination of the dirt I didn't get cleaned off and wiping it down with the acetone. So I went out to the store and I picked me up some isopropyl alcohol, and I stuck it in a squirt bottle. I'll be using that to clean with. And I'm going to go ahead and strip this chrome here on this top to the best of my abilities back down to the bare metal. That way I can get a nice, new, fresh, even coat on here. I'll be wiping it down with the isopropyl alcohol after I sand it down one more time. And that should allow me to get a decent finish here on this chrome, much better than this. And I'll be all set tomorrow for putting on the Candy Gold. And this should be finished. I know I got plenty hot during the curing of this, so I think one of my major mistakes I was making initially was I wasn't starting the timer on the cure. The first time I did this, when the wheel got up to temperature, I was starting it when the oven got up to temperature. Now yesterday when I cured this, the black and this chrome, I used my RO thermometer and I waited till it came up to temperature. The part came up to the cure temperature to set the timer. And before I actually sand this off, I'm going to attempt to wipe it with a little bit more acetone just to see if it has the same effect and actually wipes this off, because I think that happened because the powder wasn't yet cured, or it wasn't fully cured yet. But, you know, I'm only going to do that because I'm sanding it off. Going forward, that isopropyl alcohol I think will work much better. The acetone probably works great for wiping down, you know, bare metal parts, but if I already got powder coat on here for like doing this two-tone, I think I just want to use something that I know won't affect the powder that's already been flowed out. So, there's one mistake I know I made. Like I said, I think the acetone is the second mistake, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to go get some acetone on a paper towel, and I'm going to turn the camera back on and do a test wipe and see if I still am able to wipe off this chrome, even though this I know is fully cured. Alright, y'all, I got this rag nice and sopping wet with some acetone, and I'm going to see if we end up having the same problem. And you see that gray on there? It's considerably more resistant. But yeah, I'm still wiping through it. Right here on this edge mainly. I don't know if you can see that. It's turning gray there. So yeah, acetone probably isn't the best to use on this for cleaning it. Alright. Well, lesson learned. No acetone on powder coat. Only bare metal. Alright, well, something else I figured out is my first time I powder coated this chrome, I got a bunch of orange peel, and that was because I got the powder on too heavy. So, well, again, when I redo it this time, it'll be a lot lighter on the powder. I can always come back and put on another coat if I need to, just to get it up thicker. So, I'm going to be standing here for about an hour, and then I'll get back with you when I get it resprayed. Alright, y'all. Whew, it took a while to sand it down. I've gotten it sanded down. I wiped it down with isopropyl alcohol. Then I taped it up, and then I wiped it down with isopropyl alcohol again. So, we're mostly down to bare metal. There are a few spots I had a hard time getting into, but I've got the ground clamp directly here on the rim. I figure I can dust over that spot just a little bit once I get the most of the wheel powder coated here. So I'm going to try laying down the powder again. I've got the oven over there preheating. I moved it a little closer to the garage to make the carrying part a little bit easier for me. I'm going to try a little bit of a different technique for putting on the powder. I try going in a regular pattern and actually staying quite a ways away from the part so that powder isn't just falling on it. I'm going to see if I can get a nice thin but even layer on here of that Super Chrome Plus and see how it goes. Alright, y'all, I got powder on it, and I've got the oven preheated. Now I'm going to bring it on over and put it in. Oh. Boom. Bump up the temp, let it recover. It cooked for its 10 minutes at temperature. I turned the gas down, let it cool down into the 300-degree range here. And it's down here now into right at about 225. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up and take it out and hang it back up and take y'all in and see what kind of results we ended up with. Kind of hard to see out there in the dark. Oh, come off that hook. There we go. All right. Well, honestly, that's not a whole lot better. I think I'm just going to roll with it. really have much in the way of fish eyes or anything like that. Do have some orange peel, and that's because I got the powder thickened spots. And I know I did because I was having a hard time getting it to go down in here and go down around the holes for the lug nuts. It just wouldn't want to go down there. And one of the things I did read was that aluminum, especially when you get multiple coats of powder, really needs higher kilovolts than what my little Eastwood kit produces. The powder just really wasn't wanting to go to it and stick, and I clipped the ground right to the part. Now I have lightning rods in my house, so somewhere I have a regular ground rod. I might try and run a wire from that so I can use an actual ground. That may help, but I wish it turned out a little smoother. Still looks better than it did before. Now tomorrow when I go to put the gold on it, I'm probably going to put it back in the oven for a little bit right before I put the candy gold on there, just to warm it up a little bit. And I've heard, I'm not going to warm it up enough to flock for it to melt on contact, but I've heard that'll make it a little bit easier for the powder to stick. So I may warm it up to about 200 degrees. Then I'll bring it in, hang it up, and spray that gold candy on there and see if that helps a little bit with getting the powder lay down on it, because there's actually no bare metal on this right now. After it cools down, I think I might take my little rack piece out and grind a little bit on it where it contacts the wheel, and sand off where the wheel mounts to the hub. Those aren't going to be visible places, but that'll give me somewhere I can hook my ground where it'll get direct metal contact. I don't know. Now, after all of these coats of powder and sanding it off, well, all that curb bash is completely gone now and filled with powder coat, so I guess that's one improvement. Yep, I'm a bit tired, and I'm going to close up the garage for tonight and wait till my new powder gets delivered tomorrow, and we'll see how this looks when it turns gold. Alright, y'all. So I had to skip a day because it was raining too much yesterday. So I went in Tinkercad and I decided to make me some nozzles to go on my Eastwood PCS 250 powder coating gun. They might let me get the powder in a little bit easier. I'm pretty sure this funnel shaped one will really help for getting into them tight spots like in where the lug nuts go. This here will probably work good for doing nice flat surfaces, produce a good cloud. And this one here is probably just going to be a generally good one for directing the powder into a nice stream. So hopefully these will help save me on powder and help me a little bit with the spitting issue, and be able to lay it down a little bit thinner and get into all the nooks and crannies easy. Now I designed these to just slip right over, and I think I'm going to try out this one first. They just slide right on there, if you can see that. Let me put you up on tripod. That might make this a little bit easier. Alright. So I just made them so they fit tight. So they just slide up. That label there is just enough to hold it. I'm going to leave this on there so it forces the air around it to help mix the powder a little bit better. Let me see how this does now that I have the air hooked up before I actually start spraying anything. Oh, that's nice. That right there is about perfect. That's going to make this really easy. Let me try out another tip. I don't think I'm going to need to even bother trying the star tip right now, but it's one thing I noticed different between the professional guns and these cheap ones is different nozzles. Oh, that's really nice there. That's a hell of an improvement. If anybody really wants some, just leave me a comment down below, and I'll see if I can't just print out a few extras and throw them up on eBay. Alright, well, I don't know if I want to use this or I'll use the funnel one for doing this wheel, because I really got to get this gold chrome on there nice and even. So I'll leave that down here. I've had the wheel preheating out there in the oven, and so I'm going to go ahead and bring it in, put it up on the hook. I've only preheated it to 200 degrees. This being, you know, a second or third coat of powder on it, it's going to be a little bit hard to get to actually attract to it. I have discovered I do have a true earth ground. I just don't have the wire to bring it into the garage yet. And that'll help out a little bit later on. But right now, just preheating the part to about 200 degrees. Should be enough to help the adhesion, but not enough for it to be flocking. So let me get it out and I'll crank the oven up. Alright. Stay still. There we go. Alright. Get this heating up because I need to cure this out at 375. And of course I blew it out. It's easier to run the oven up on high than it is down low. That should bring it on up to temp. Let's check and see what we're sitting at here. Alright, well I got to about 170, 185. That is good enough. Let me check the side here, because yeah, we're at 180. That's going to work out perfectly. You see if I can't just get this gold chrome sprayed on there pretty evenly onto that, excuse me, candy gold, pretty evenly onto this wheel down here. Thinks I got me a bare spot right down here. I can dig that ground into. All right. How's it when we get to see if I'm lucky? In them hard to reach areas first. Oh, this is so much nicer. It just goes right where you want it to. That is exactly what I need for a finish like this. I try and get those tighter spots first. working so much better. The power just coming out nice and controlled. And I can direct it right where I want it to go, instead of just hoping it lands where I want it. I'm not too concerned if I get a little bit on the black, because I don't honestly think it's going to show over that black. And if it does a little bit, that's alright. Just having me a little bit of fun here. Sorry about that, I thought I had the compressor turned off. Let me take y'all down here so you can see that went on a whole lot more even. I don't see the typical issues I've been having spraying, you know, little droplets and whatnot. So I think this, at least this coat, is probably going to be one of my better coats. So I think I'll go ahead and get it put in the oven, wait for it to come to temp, and see how it lays out. So let me get that oven opened up, and I'll come on over here and hook it. All right. Alright, y'all, it's just a matter of waiting now, so I'm going to turn the camera off for a little while that gets to hooking. I'll bring y'all back when it's time to bring it out. Alright, y'all, timer's up. I've been letting it cool a little bit in the oven, so I ain't bringing it out hot. It's time to see what we end up with. ain't too bad. I do wish it was a little bit more reflective, but it'd have probably been a little bit better had I gotten the Super Chrome Plus a little smoother. But yeah, as a test wheel, it ain't too bad. Definitely better than it was. I may still redo this again later on when I do the rest of the wheels. This was my, spare. It's a fifth wheel. Take you out here and show you the muck I'm dealing with here. It definitely looks better than that. So I think that's going to finish up this experiment. The oven's working good. My new powder coating nozzles for the Eastwood gun, they're working good. And I think if I were to completely redo this with that nozzle, I wouldn't end up with all that orange peel and those little specks. And I get a much nicer finish. Alright, y'all. It's Sunday. And I went ahead and got one of the wife's wheels for a Civic demounted. I'm going to try powder coating it next, but today I'm just going to get it cleaned up. Now it has a smaller 4-lug bolt pattern, so I'm going to have to make another one of those to fit it. And this should give me a little bit better test with my new nozzles I've made for my spray gun. See if I can't just get the finish better. But since it's finally bright and sunny today and the rain's all stopped, I figured I'd take you out so you could see what that old wheel looks like in the sunlight that I just did. It's not perfect, mainly because the lower layers are a little bit thick and they got a little bit of orange peel in them. But compared to what the started off as, that ain't half bad. That's a hell of an improvement. I'll probably re-strip this one down and do it once again now that I have the nozzles working good, and go ahead and get all the rest of them done. I've got 10 wheels to strip down and powder coat now. So let me get back into here and I'll get to forging me out another eyelet and weld me up another plate for the smaller 4-lug pattern. And I'm just going to get to work getting this old wheel cleaned up and ready for coating. I don't think I'll get it coated today, but I should be able to get it cleaned up enough I can throw it in the oven there and go ahead and pre-bake it to get all the chemicals off-gassed out of it. Probably going to bring it up to about 550, maybe 575. That should go ahead and get everything out, because all the powders I'm going to be putting on it are going to cure out at a lower temp than that. I think 400 degrees is going to be the highest, and that's for the Super Chrome Plus. The Candy Gold just goes on at I think 375, so 450 to 500 should keep me well off gassed. I'll leave it in there until the wheel itself gets up to full temp, and then tomorrow or the day after I should be ready for coating this one. And after that I'll go ahead and get all the rest of them dismounted, because I went down to the Never Done Projects and got them to order me some new I think they're Falcon tires to put on these. Should be a little bit better performance than those El Cheapo ones I got at Firestone a few years ago. Alright, y'all, I already went ahead and baked this before I started sanding and cleaning it up. I got it mostly cleaned up, just got some of these tight little detailed spaces I still gonna have to get to. I went ahead and made another thing for holding this size wheels up, being a little bit smaller than the ones for the 240. So, in order to tell them apart, I went ahead and put a twist in this end here, so I'll know they're different other than the size of them. So that's gonna be about it for me this evening. It's fixing to rain, and I just got done cleaning up the garage because I got some new tools coming tomorrow. Need to make sure I can get them in before the rain. I'll get back with you then, and we'll get this wheel finished up, and I'll give it a coat of that Super Chrome Plus and the Candy Gold, and we'll see how that turns out with my new nozzles. Alright, y'all, there's now a crate in my garage that's going to make cleaning up parts like these wheels and the REO truck so much easier. But I'm not going to be able to get all unpacked and assembled today. So I'm just going to try and get it opened up and see what kind of power cord it has on it, or if I need to pick up an end to put on it. And I'll be going to the store and getting me some distilled water to put in it. Stick around, I'll show you what it is when I go to putting it together. Alright, y'all, I found out what I needed to find out. What kind of plug it had on it. And I just happened to already be set for that and had one on there. So I'm good there. I just gotta go pick up some distilled water to put in it. This machine is just a wee bit bigger than I was expecting. But I'll come on back later on today and get it unboxed and set up so I can give it a try tomorrow. But right now I'm going to go get the supplies I need. I know I'm going to need some distilled water. I'll go ahead and get this unpacked. See if I can get a few more of these panels out. That is a big machine. Hope it's on casters. Alright, y'all. So, I finally got it all put together, and I haven't tested it out yet. It wouldn't power on at first. So I had to contact the support. And they had me open it up and adjust some settings in the voltage protection. And the wire to the display up here wasn't plugged in. I think some things just jiggled loose in shipping. So that wasn't too big of a deal. It did take me a little bit to get that sorted out over, you know, the support chat, but it's on now. I can't use it yet, but I do have it configured for the rust removal cleaning. But I got to hook up an air supply to this hose, and I don't have anything to hook to that. So as late as it is, I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow, and I believe that's a 6mm hose, and I'm gonna have to look up the specifications for the conversion. I do things in PSI, and that's not how they listed it. But this already seems to be a beast of a machine. I mean, you hear it whirling up there. But I'm gonna call it an evening, and I'm gonna go in and look up what I need for that hose there. And I take the safety glasses that came in. I'm gonna take the safety glasses that came with the machine in the house with me, and see if I can look up something equivalent that I can wear over top of my existing glasses, because I can't see if I take them off, and well, if I don't wear some kind of eye protection, I'll definitely go even blinder. So I'm gonna call it an evening. Alright, y'all, man, is it hot. I finally got the machine here set up and configured. I gave it a quick test. I didn't want to use it until today because I ordered some fancy safety goggles, because well, they just look safer than the ones that came with it. They basically look like glorified sunglasses. Now, I wear regular glasses, so I can't even wear them and my glasses. But these will go on over top of my prescription lenses, so I'll be able to see. Let me bring you out. I decided I want to do a little bit of a test, see what it does to various materials. So here I have the bracket off of the old lawnmower leaf bagger, or clipping bagger, that I cut up when I was making the powder coating oven. Now, I think this is powder coated. I could be wrong, but either way, I'm going to see if it'll take off the powder coat and the label. It should leave a nice smooth finish underneath, since this wasn't actually rusty. I've got part of an old wheel chock from my 240, one of the factory ones, and I already had it sitting in my tumbler, and as you can see, it's still coated with gunk. We'll see if it'll clean that off. I've got the old water pump off of my Ford tractor, or what's left of it anyhow. A brake drum from my, a brake disc off the 240SX, OEM factory one. I've got the original master cylinder off the REO truck from the Hydrovac system. An old horseshoe I found buried in the dirt. A piece of that barrel that's got clean paint on it. A couple old spark plugs, a chunk of T-post. And this is actually part of my lawnmower deck. I actually removed it and replaced it when I repaired it, and I don't know if that's powder coated or not, but we'll see if it'll clean that off, along with two old trailer style brake lights that I took off the REO truck. I actually replaced them with new ones. Those aren't really that old, but I'm gonna see if it'll clean this stuff up and how it does for each of them. I'm gonna get you set up and we'll see how it goes. Get my goggles on, get the machine turned on, and I'll be right back with you. All right, y'all, here we go. It's hot out here in the sun, so I'm gonna be sitting on my barrel here. I didn't want to actually use this in the garage, so I got way too many things that are flammable in there. So I got this big thick steel plate to do this on. So it should make a good base. It was also quite rusty, so that was actually the first thing I tried it on. So let's go ahead and give this old steel wheel chock a try. It was quite rusty. It does get warm. I think what's actually getting warm is the dirt that's on it, because as the parts get cleaner, they don't get as hot. But that was quite crusty. It's got a lot of basically dirt and grime buildup. Let's do the other side. Alright, I actually think this thing is mostly rust, so that also could be why it's getting so hot. Let's try them spark plugs. I'm curious. Give them a little roll over to the other side. Well, while we're over here, let's get that piece of barrel with sheet metal. Well, it definitely removes paint easy. Alright, well, let's give that label a try into some of this heavier paint. That weren't too bad. Old water pump. If you have a lot of scale, it won't go all the way through it. So I went ahead and I brought me a wire brush out with me just to see if I could. It took off most all of it and most of the paint. But I think for cases like that, if you just have a wire brush just to go over it, knock off the loose, maybe we can get the rest of it off on the second pass. It's like a chunk of grease with dirt built up into it. It's gone now. All right, well, got this old brake caliper, excuse me, rotor, off the 240. It's got some high temp paint here around the bolt pattern, or the bolt holes, so see how it cleans up. Interesting. The paint that's deeper down in here, around where the lugs go, it didn't come off. Let me try that again now that I've brushed over it. There it goes. I guess it was just a little bit thicker there. Alright, let's hit that old brake master cylinder a little bit. It's really old and rusty, and it's kind of thick on there. Or it could just be dirt, I don't know. I'm assuming. That's down to the bare metal there. I'm going to take one more pass since I brushed it to see if any more comes off. No, that's it. Alright, let's go over that horseshoe some. Well, that didn't take hardly nothing. Let's give that rusty T-post a shot. And that didn't take much effort. There's just a little powder left over. Let me give that piece of steel from the mowing deck a go. So that powder tip, it will take it off, but it does take considerably more effort. It takes it quite a bit longer there. And I think it gets a whole lot hotter. All right, I'll just get one of these rusty old lights in here. I'll go ahead and set up on that. Clean a little bit more off there. Whew. Well, what I can say is it gets rid of rust, paint, well, both those pretty good, but the more material is on the surface to be removed, the hotter the part is going to get.